Well, great evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is that time once again for another webisode for Marriage by Design. Hey, Lovey Barkley said, "You look lovely, Queen. You
Thank
do look
you.
lovely, babe. You look lovely. We appreciate you
Thank you.
coming here in on the show. We got a hot one today for you. Speaking of looking good and being hot, we got a hot episode for you, a hot topic for you on today. Okay, are high earning women less attractive? High achieving women, are they less attractive? We're gonna get into it. We actually got a couple guests on deck as well. We want to see your comments. If you're tuning in again on our Clubhouse, we got listeners on the Clubhouse as well. Feel free to join the YouTube live stream and chop it up with us there. So let's just kind of get into it.
Just gonna skip that today your birthday.
Oh well, I mean, yeah,
Happy birthday.
it is my birthday. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. Coach Love. Okay, that's Coach Love. Hey, you got the link, Coach Love, to get in the come on the show as well. We'd love to have you, chime in on the topic. And once again, for our Clubhouse viewers, we are going live on YouTube. But it is my birthday.
It is your birthday.
Yeah, or the 14th anniversary of my 25th birthday, as I like to call it.
If you want to do all that math, go ahead.
That's right. Made it around the sun one more time. I'm feeling good about it.
Guess it ain't that much math.
Yeah, 14 and 25. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm 39. So, listen, this is something that everybody's been talking about. There's been like viral posts and commentary about this. I guess it was a podcast. Did you ever go back and look at it?
I haven't had time.
Okay.
So I didn't go back and look at it, but I did see what you showed me.
Okay.
And so I did see that part. I did want to go back, but it's just been crazy.
Yeah, I saw the clip of I saw a clip of a guy. I guess it was on a podcast or something.
It was
where basically he was saying that high achieving women and high earning women are less attractive. And just off of the clip, right? The commentary was insane. It was through the roof, right? The commentary, people got fired up, as you would imagine they would on a topic like this, and that's what made us actually switch up what we were going to talk about today. We are going to talk about something else today, but this got so spicy. We said, hey, let's chime in on it. But I guess I'll toss it to you just to start it off. What do you think? Are high achieving, high earning women who've already achieved a whole lot, accomplished a whole lot, are they less attractive? What say you?
Well, you want me to tell you what I really think? What I really think is, where is the high achieving, high earning woman placing money and luxury items in her life? So if we have a single woman that is high achieving and she's high earning and she is boss chick, is what would be called, then I do think that is out of balance. Because
So are you saying that all high achieving women are boss chicks?
not at all. You can be a high achieving woman and be a modern woman, or I would say modern. You can be a modern high achieving woman and still have balance. It's about where you're placing the achievements, where you're placing what you're going after, meaning, is your family, is your husband, are they on the back burner? And it's about your goals, your dreams, your desires, and what you're pursuing.
So if it's not a necessity for a high achieving, high earning woman to be a boss chick, why'd you default to that? Why'd you go straight to it then?
Because that's what they were talking about. And the people making all the comments are leaning more towards either boss chicks or they already boss chicks.
Okay, gotcha.
Because a high achieving, a modern woman is not going to be all rah rah in the comments. She would know that they're not talking to her. And when somebody's not talking to you, you don't scream out or yell or anything. Or if it doesn't apply to you, you're not screaming out, yelling, or doing anything like that. So
if it don't apply, let it fly.
There you go. If it don't apply, let it fly.
Okay.
So people get the hurt feelings, and that's when they in the comments,
So a hit dog holler is basically what you're saying. They're upset because that is what they're speaking to. They're identifying with what's being
Right.
spoken about.
Right, because plenty of times, like, I don't identify with that. I just keep on, like, when it's something you don't identify with, you just keep moving. Like, if somebody said, oh, something, black women are horrible eaters, whatever it is, you just, well, that's not me, and I keep moving. Like, I don't have time to go. You making time in your schedule to actually go and reply to these comments, then there's something there. And a reply negatively, or feel like you got to defend or anything like that, then there's something there.
Okay. Well, listen, I'll say this from a male perspective. To me, there is attraction in a woman not having accomplished everything. So from the commentary standpoint, he was, the context was he was talking about a woman that was talking to him and she was saying how she basically has everything except for a spouse.
Okay.
And she was like, I've achieved so so much. She's got the education, she's got the business, she's got the money, she's got the career, she's got everything. The only thing missing is a spouse.
Wow.
And I'm gonna say, listen, as a man, I don't want to be a finishing touch on anybody's life.
You don't need a finishing touch.
I don't want to be the strawberry on top. It's like I got the cake, I got the icing, I got I got the powdered sugar. It'd be nice to put a little cherry on top. I'm not coming to be your cherry on top.
Right.
And so a lot of the commentary that I saw in response to this clip was women being upset, about men needing to be needed.
Oh, that upsets me. That upsets me that women, particularly black women, do not understand that a man needs to be needed. On the opposite side, as a woman, don't you just, even if you didn't break it down, everything, but as a woman in a relationship, don't you want to feel needed? So why is it bad for us, and for a black woman to need a man? What is bad about that?
Yeah, I mean, here's some comments that here it is. Here's one of the comments from the thread. Person will remain anonymous. It said, "What these insecure men fail to realize."
Wow.
Right. I'm insecure because I want to be needed as
Wow.
a man. Right. What these insecure men fail to realize is we can pull our resources together and have more money. And finances isn't the only thing a real woman needs. We need support, comfort, understanding, protector, masculinity, leader, etc. I saw this video the other day and it turned me completely off. Right. So that's always amusing to me when just because a man would have a preference for not being with a certain type of woman, or is repelled by something there, that we immediately go to attacking the ego, right?
Because it's where it hurts the most.
You're attacking, oh, you're insecure. Maybe I just don't want to deal with it, And as a masculine man, it does light you up to be able to be a provider, right? That's part of our identity as masculine men.
Right.
We find identity in being that provider. And so if you got it or you don't need me, that is removing an opportunity for me to manifest a huge part of my purpose and my identity because I don't have to provide for you.
Right.
So, if I were somehow back on the market, I love the fact that I've been able to give you experiences for the first time. All right. So if I'm back out on the market and I want to, find a new spouse, guess what? I want her to not necessarily have had all the experiences that I want to give her. Right. I went to Paris for business, and then I brought you to Paris.
Right.
It feels good as a man to be in a position to take you, my wife, right, and say, oh, hey, we're gonna go here. Let me, you got to experience the Beau Mouche. You, babe, we can go to the Eiffel Tower. We're going to the Louvre, and I'm taking you somewhere, and you haven't already experienced all of it.
Right.
The tropical destinations we've gone to, purchasing a home, building our first home, all these different things. These were experiences that I was able to afford for you. Now, if you already had these things, and I'm like, hey, listen, I want to build you a house, and you're like, oh yeah, I love building a house because when I built my first house, I did this, I did that. That removes some of the magic from it. Right. If I want to take you on a trip, and I was like, hey, let's go. It's a resort. Oh, I love Jamaica. When I went, every time I go with my girls, we go here. You've already done everything. You telling me about places maybe you went with another spouse already, right? Or whatever.
Right.
You did it on your own. Oh yeah, I've been to Paris already. Like there's nothing new I can do for you. That does rob some of the magic.
Right.
To me as a man. And I don't think that makes a man insecure.
No, because built into you is being able to be a leader, protector, and provider. So that's a big component of your role is to be able to provide those experiences through being able to afford to provide those experiences. And when you've already done everything because you already have everything, it's like, okay, what do I bring to you? What am I here for? And so I think it's kind of crazy and backwards because now you really are like, okay, well, I want a husband. I don't need a husband. I have everything. Some occasional sex, with someone that's committed to me would be nice. That's basically what I'm hearing. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm hearing. So, it'll be nice to have that icing on the cake, another accomplishment under my belt. Let's get the husband, and then maybe some kids or a dog or something like that. And so it's just really out of order and out of priority. And again, for me, the biggest thing is you have prioritized stuff, all this stuff, making money, getting whatever it is that you want, the main thing being the money, over a husband and a family. And if that is the case, like that's the lifestyle you want to lead, don't be mad at the man or men when they say that that's not attracted to them. How are you going to be mad at them for telling you what the case is? And so I just think that we really need to take a step back and evaluate what we're putting out here and what we're looking for. So that's what I see it as.
All right. Well, listen, we want to get other voices in on this. We got a guest in the waiting room in the green room right here. And by the way, if you ever want to be a guest on the show, you can go to showguest.themarriagebydesign.com, showguest.themarriagebydesign.com to apply to be a guest on the show. But we got special guests. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's see. This is our first guest on the show. So right, give it up for our first guy. I think I got a little sound effect here. There we go. We get a little hand clap here for the first guest on the show. Let's see if I can do this properly. Oh, that's I guess here. All right. Maybe I gotta unlock the scene. Okay.
Wait. It says you're on the air. Okay.
Oh, you're on the air. You're on the air. Coach Love in the building. What's happening, lady?
What's happening,
lady? You may have to turn
Hello,
down
hello.
audio in the background, so we can reduce the echo.
Are you guys able to hear me?
Yes. Can you hear us?
Okay, yes. It's good. It's good.
Okay. Yeah, you may.
Hello.
Yeah, you may need to turn down your audio. Or put headphones in.
Okay.
Echo.
Okay, 1 second here.
Or I don't know if you had the YouTube.
I actually did, but I turned the sound off from the YouTube, so we'll see how we do.
Okay. All right. Great. Well, hey. Yeah, we still get a little bit of echo. Maybe. You have any headphones?
Listen, I've been looking for my headphones for the last couple of hours. They disappeared. They got legs and walked away on me. Let me see what I can do here. Just give me a second.
Okay. Well, listen. While we wait, I see we got a comment here from Tradition versus Modern. The problem with the Black community, and it's one of the many issues, is following these trauma movie narratives, especially movies like The Color Purple, give a bad image of us. Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah, that's a whole episode in itself, right? You got The Color Purple, the Waiting to Exhales of the world has just paid the image.
Drama. And I don't know why we cannot separate that being drama and trauma from what real life looks like. It's like, oh, this has to be real. This has to relate to us. When that's not even the case. It's a movie. It's for entertainment. And what is entertainment? Drama. And where do you get the most drama from? Negative. So people are making these movies to make money, but it's just a bunch of negativity. And most people's lives don't have to look like that. And I don't think a lot of people lives don't look like that. So it doesn't have to be that way.
Well, it's social engineering, right? Like,
Right.
if we don't believe these movies, this media that we take in plays an effect on
Oh, for sure.
our perception, and that's like believing marketing doesn't work,
Hmm.
right? So you're sitting down and inculcating yourself with hours of social engineering on your brain in these different movies, which also speaks to kind of that topic that we have here at hand tonight, right? Of high achieving women being, are they unattractive? A woman that has achieved a lot, she's a high earner. I think the social engineering of conditioning us to value and place a premium on luxury and materialistic things above that of family,
Right.
right? Because don't get it twisted. I like luxury. I like materialistic things.
Hmm.
I like convenience. We have a pretty awesome lifestyle, and we're ever increasing that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but
Right.
not at the expense of family.
Right.
So if you've made a priority, if you because of the conditioning we have, you've prioritized, achieving a lot of accomplishments, a lot of education, a lot of career, a lot of business, a lot of money, and you're doing that, and you have not invested any time and prioritization into relationship, into a spouse, into a family. I think that speaks to who you are. So it's not like that you're inherently unattractive, but chances are to get to that spot, the type of
Hmm.
things that you've had to take on, the value system that you have, that part is likely to be unattractive.
Hmm.
So somebody who has prioritized business over family would be unattractive to me as
Hmm.
somebody who prioritizes and values family over business, right?
Right.
So yeah, that I think that fits in here. So let's see if we get Coach Love back on here with our audio and see if uh, this works for us better this time. You look clearer for sure. Oh, let's see.
Okay.
All right. Let's see how we good on the audio.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you great. We can hear you great. We have you now. We have you now. So
Okay.
thank you. Hey, welcome to the show. First and foremost, introduce yourself to the audience, and then let's know your thoughts on the topic here.
First I'll say hello, Queen.
Hello.
You always honor the person that looks most like you first. Hello, hello. It's nice to see you. It's nice to see that amount of beauty and regalness all in one space.
Oh,
And happy birthday to you again, King James. I appreciate it. Thank you guys both for allowing me to share this space with you tonight. It's definitely going to be an interesting conversation, to say the least. But I'm Coach Love. I happen to be a self-love coach for men. Many of you, that's the place that you typically see me in forums where we're having discussion about the mental, emotional, and spiritual health of men. Yes, that does include those of us that are melanated, especially those of us. It was always my thought that whatever I do in life, I'm going to always come from my people first. So that's where I start, but that's certainly not the only space that I stay in. Outside of that, I'm also an author. I'm also a publisher. So there's many things that I do, but my first heart lies within the space of the type of conversations that we're having tonight, relationships.
So
Now on
talk
to
to
the
us about it
topic.
then. On the relationship.
Listen,
Talk to us. Talk
listen.
to us.
Listen, y'all already know. I will say, I agree with what the Queen said. When I initially saw the clips of the video, I typically, when I see it's too much rah-rah, I'm like, okay, that's not even my space. Because like she said, if you are that woman, you're not in the comment section going, why they say that? Who they talking about? You don't even care. That kind of information is not even on your radar because you're operating at a much higher energy level and frequency than the people that are probably commenting in the first place. But I will also say, and I'll also say, I was slightly triggered just because the connotation sounded so negative. People just took it right to the negative part. It was never just like, okay, like you said, this is his idea, this is his opinion, and it's valid. We went right for the attack. Like, that's all I saw. People like, oh, well, how he gonna say that? So what he saying? And look at the responses you got. You said people are talking about this man's level of insecurity, things of that nature, but they're not really valid in real time. You know, I wouldn't say they're not valid, because people right in the moment believe that their opinions are valid. But the information wasn't really relevant at that level, because that's not really what they were speaking to.
So let me ask you this then. That poses the question: Are people, and here I'll just go here, women, right? Because it was this is women. This is what we're talking about. We gotta call it what it is, right? It was women who were responding this way. Do women tend to respond too emotionally on these type of topics when they hear these type of comments? Are they responding, too emotionally when they hear something like this?
I'll say women or men, but particularly women that have not probably done any hard work, absolutely. If that's their default setting. So if you haven't gone through the process of self-evaluation or awareness, had any open conversations with someone of a professional nature about your mental, emotional, and spiritual health, or any of your dimensions, that's your natural response to everything. Because like you said, you're coming to the conversation with drama based on your own personal trauma that you haven't resolved. But healthy women that are doing that work, that have aspired to evolve, and as individuals, whether they're in a relationship or not, the response is typically very different, very different.
Okay. So overall, it poses the question to you: do you think for men, high achieving, high earning women are unattractive?
No. And I say that because consider the irony of the fact that the same thing that this man is speaking about, women find men that have not done those exact same things. Every man that has maybe not achieved a certain level of excellence by a woman's standards, women say that man isn't attractive, right? Mm-hmm. So I feel like it's a fair statement for a man to say the same thing. I find you not attractive at this level. It's the same thing when women say, I find you not attractive because you're not at that level yet. I think people are allowed to have those thoughts and feelings about situations, but are they unattractive? Absolutely not. I think there's a reason that particular gentleman may have spoke to that, but
what do you think that reason was? Why do you think for him then? And there's a segment of men, do you think he speaks for himself, only him, or do you think there's some other men that feel that way too?
There may be some other men, but I want to say that my thought process, from what I heard, what I gathered from it, that's his thought. And that could be for different things. That could be because maybe he's had an issue in that space where, because he hasn't achieved as much as he's liked, maybe he does have an issue with his security. Maybe he is questioning his manhood because women have told him he's unattractive. So now his response to that is, oh, well, if you've done more than I've done, then I'm not attracted to you.
Okay, but
that sounds like a very personal statement. I don't think that was blanket.
Okay, gotcha. So you're saying, well, if you're attracted to a man, in part based off of, him, he's appealing, if he's achieved some things, if he is a high earning, these will add to his attractiveness. And you're saying, well, I would expect that it would be the same in return. What do you say to the people who feel like, attraction is not symmetrical? What you're attracted to as a woman doesn't mean that that's what a man is attracted to as a man.
Right. But all of it's unfortunate that people are even saying that that's part of the attraction. I agree with what your wife said. Like, why is anything superficial or materialistic how we gauge if someone should be attractive or worthy of our time, energy, and resources? That's like the least important thing of the connection. Why is that even important information before understanding if that person is mentally, emotionally, and spiritually healthy? Why are those things? Why is that thing or those achievements more important than that? More than the human and more than the person and their character at heart? Why is that more important?
Well, I think,
in the first place,
I think it's a different question. One is saying, like, why is something a certain way versus is it a certain way? Right? Mm-hmm. It's one thing to say, the question, why is something this way, versus asking the question, is it this way? So we're asking the question, is it true that high achieving and high earning women are attractive? We got to first tackle the question, is that true? And then we can get into, like, why is that true? I think like I saw even recently an article that was saying women who earn more money, high earning women, actually get cheated on more. Right?
Wow.
High earning women get cheated on more, and I gotta go back and and read to see the breakdown of how they were determining this. But I saw a couple different news outlets speaking on that. So I
think something.
go ahead.
This is just off the top of my head as I'm analyzing and going through everything. I think in order to achieve some of these areas of success, being a high achieving woman, because I've been seeing stuff also in the media about being aggressive and all these other things. It's going to take a certain level of masculinity that you have to put into the workforce and career 9 times out of 10 in order to achieve these things. You don't see high earning teachers. You don't see a lot of high earning helping fields. When I think about high earning, I'm thinking about people that are bankers, lawyers, career-driven women. This is what the category I'm putting them in. I'm thinking the majority of them are in career-driven women. So I'm thinking your sales. I'm thinking, CEOs, different things where you have to take on an aspect of being masculine. You're going to be leading. You're going to be telling people no a lot. You're going to just be boss-like. And so in that, men don't want someone or their women, their wife, their girlfriend, their significant other to boss them.
Yeah.
And so
I don't want my wife nor my girlfriend to boss me. Neither one of them.
So in that aspect, when you have a woman that has achieved that, because I worked in a high sales driven career when I was in the workforce, I literally had to make a switch and come home and like debrief on my way home, so that I didn't think I was going to come home and boss my husband like I was telling other people on the job what to do. And so when you have that as a scenario and a situation, I believe that switch, if not done intentionally is hard to do, but if not done intentionally, then you're still in that driving force. And a man that is going to be a protector, provider, and God, there's so many different terms, red pill, blue pill, whatever it is. But a man that is walking in his role is not wanting to have that. He wants peace, and he does not want to be led by his wife, girlfriend, or whoever it else is.
Well, one of the things is submission, right?
Right.
Like the type of men that most women want is a type of man that he's going to desire submission from his wife. And when you have taken on a nature, because of your high performance in career, you've taken on a nature to not be agreeable, because that's what it really takes.
Yeah.
A lot of time in business and entrepreneurship and sales, you have to take on a temperament, a disposition. That's the word I'm looking for. You have to take on a disposition that's not necessarily agreeable. Right? I work in sales. I it's not serving me to be agreeable. Have an agreeable personality type to work in sales. And so, if I have that makeup, and then you have it as well, right? Two alphas, right? What are two bulls going to do? They're going to butt heads, right? So, this is not, obviously there's some other arenas where you could be high achieving or high earning, but for the most part, it's going to be in business.
Right.
It's going to be in sales, something sales related, or you're in a field that is going to take a lot of laser focus to advance that. Like you said, in medicine, if you're a doctor or even as an attorney, right? And depending on what you're doing, say as a doctor, where you're still taking care of people, and I don't think that requires you to not be agreeable, or like it's not sales driven or like entrepreneurship. But what it does require, though, is a high level of focus and effort on that robs you from being able to feed into being a nurturer, a comfort, a support in the relationship role. So I just think it'd be very, very difficult not to take on, if you're going to be high achieving as a woman, I think it's very difficult. You're putting odds against your favor to be able to really have some strong relationships. Is that too far, Coach Love? Is that too far of a statement? Is that too strong?
Not in the context of what your wife just spoke to. I don't think it's necessarily that they're unattracted to the high achieving woman. They're unattracted to the energy that she doesn't know how to transition away from because she's a high achieving woman. Like you said, the energy you have in the boardroom doesn't belong in the bedroom. It doesn't belong in the household. If your dynamic is such that you want to be the woman that is being submissive to the leading man, or the role of the man that's being the provider, the protector. But to say that a person shouldn't aspire to be great or to live in excellence, that's not for someone else to say. Like, we don't want to all be just hanging out with low vibrational people. That could be very unhealthy just overall. But I think it's like she said, people that have not intentionally transitioned that energy into something that's healthy when they come into the home, that creates a different type of space, a different type of energy. And
So
now
how do
you
you do
do
it then?
feel
How-
threatened, like,
How
that's
do
not
you make
sexy.
that happen? How do you do it? Because that's a tall task. It's a difficult thing to do.
It is. The cost was too high for me. Like, for
Right.
me, the transition, because I've always, before James and I got married, it wasn't a term traditional wife, but I always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. And
Right.
the being able to be home, raise our children, be a support to James, our kids, nurture. I've always wanted to do that. I never wanted to work for somebody else. And then on top of that, I wanted to build family business. And so that's always been the goal ever since I graduated college with a master's degree. So I had a master's degree in something completely different. And once I got out of school, I was like, I don't want to work for somebody else and build their dream and their wealth and all this other kind of stuff. I want to come home. And so for me, it was extremely hard to just transition in and out of that. It's too expensive to mental energy. It was like, okay, I got to do this again. Okay. And then I got to go back to work and I got to be this person. Literally, I was one person here. I was one person there. Then I had to come home and do home tasks. And then it was just get me out of this workplace, because it's just not worth it.
Yeah. So here, I want to go back to a comment. I put it up on the screen earlier. John said, why not strive to be a high achieving couple, or better yet, a high achieving family? I knew I found my
Right.
spouse because she makes me want to be a better man. So that's the question on the table. Why not achieve to be a high achieving couple, or better yet, a high achieving family? See, here's one of the things I hear a lot is some men are saying, yeah, you go out there and get yours, I'm gonna go out and get mine, and then we could be high achieving together. And I guess you can. To me, it's more prudent. It makes more sense that, like, why don't we come together and build something together versus I'm gonna go build mine, you go build yours, and then let's try this merger later down the line. I
You
mean,
can't pass that on
Right.
either. If you have any desire to build family legacy that you can pass down, if you want to pass down a business to your kids,
Right.
you would need to do that together in order for that to be passed down. Now, you can pass down money, stuff, investments, and different things like that, but being able to pass down, this is what our family looked like also, and this is the family legacy we built. So we putting this on the table for you. What family business are y'all going to build? And you can pass that down so it does better the family and the community.
so Coach
Agreed.
Love, for you, looking at like being a high achieving family or a high achieving couple, like what route would you say is the best to make that happen? What route is it better to go off and try to get a lot of achievement on your own, your spouse get a lot of achievement on their own, and then you're gonna come merge this, or for you all to come and build something together? Which route would be more prudent for couples to follow?
I think that's going to vary depending on, what each individual's strengths are. Because, like you said, when you come together, the goal is that you more or less, that your energy encompasses one another. You shouldn't be competing in the same space, especially if the goal is the same. So I think it just depends. Like what your wife spoke to about, this is what I wanted. So I knew I wanted to do this. So I knew I need to make an effort to transition my energy to create that. But she also knew that there's a certain dynamic that you wanted from her as a woman in the house that she could actually, quote unquote, submit to. But if there was a conflict there, that would not work. And who's to say that the dynamic that you all have created is not the epitome of a high achieving family or couple? It just really comes down to what people are willing to commit to as individuals and how people are willing to possibly I won't say sacrifice because we don't want to be sacrificial lambs here. But you want to be able to at least assess yourself and be aware of yourself enough.
No, we're not gonna skate past that. Okay, talk to me. What do you mean about this sacrificial lamb? We don't want to be the sacrificial lamb.
I'll say this. One of the things I speak to and that I'm working very diligently with in the space of, having conversations with men when it comes to their mental, emotional, and spiritual energy is that don't sacrifice to the detriment of yourself. Many men do that. Many Black men have been conditioned to do that. That you just give up yourself. That looks like you being overly, sometimes this thing that people are talking about, one of the trends, I guess, now is toxic masculinity. You're like overly doing everything. You're demanding certain things. You're making unhealthy choices based on typically more often your ego than typically what your real true character at heart is. Because your goal is that you're thinking as a man, you need to prove yourself outside of yourself. There's no reason to be doing that. You should only be moving in the intention that's natural to your character. But that's not what we're taught. That's not what any of us are taught. That's why we got women out here that are the way that they are and people think that they're unattractive, right? Because people are aspiring to be something outside of themselves. I'm saying it's healthy to commit to people, but not to your own detriment, not to the detriment of your mental, emotional, spiritual health. At some point, you have to always honor yourself for everything that you're doing as a man, no matter what is happening in your household or no matter how you feel you need to prioritize the people in your life. If you don't take care of James, every role that you have that's attached to you, every assignment that God has gifted to you and that society or culture or your family has gifted to you, you will not be able to honor that. So that's the part I mean about don't be a sacrificial lamb to that extent, to the point that you're just completely taking yourself out the equation instead of making yourself part of the equation, because who you are as a man dictates everything that's in alignment with everything that's in your life.
You got it. You got to have your oxygen mask on first. You're no good to somebody else if you
absolutely
run yourself ragged. I got you. Yeah. So obviously there is a level of sacrifice. And I think when we talk about sacrifice, this is why I perked my ear and I wanted to go back to that. And I appreciate the way you framed it, right? And I agree with you can't sacrifice to the point of detriment of yourself because you're not even of any good. Just to the detriment of the others as well, to your spouse, to your family. Right. But when we talk about sacrifice overall, a lot of times people are so caught up in what they want and how they feel that they're not willing to make any sacrifice because they feel like sacrifice is giving something up. Mm-hmm. And that's not incorrect, but it's incomplete in terms of definition, right? Sacrifice is not just giving something up. It's giving something up for something else, all right? And so there is some sacrifice. There is some delayed gratification, even as it pertains to this topic of high achieving, high earning, right? Where we delayed even, there's some things, career-wise, achievement-wise that we could be further along in, but at what sacrifice, right? Mm-hmm. So with sacrifice, some of the achieving, some of the earning, I gave that up for what? For a more balanced family life. Right. For being able to be more present. Right. Mm-hmm. So as long as we keep sacrifice, I think in that space of, being calculated in, I'm giving one thing up for something else. You can have everything you have anything in life you want. You just can't have everything at the same time. Right. I believe you can have it all, quote unquote, have it all lifestyle, everything that you want. I believe you can. Right. I don't believe you necessarily can chase it and build it all at once. And so
it's called healthy integration.
Right. Healthy. I like that. Healthy
integration. I think balance is a farce.
Go ahead. Say that again.
No, I just was saying, I think balance is a farce. I think it's possible to have healthy integration. It's kind of like that conflict where women are so challenging the concept of what submission is. It's because we feel like a lot of people think you're just taking away everything about who you are as a woman to just be there for the man. That's not what it's about. It's like you said, you're making a very intentional decision about what you're willing to release so that you can grab onto something else. There's always meant to be a healthy exchange of ideas and information and connection. You have to kind of just release some of those old adages and narratives that don't serve you as the woman or the man in that particular situation or in that particular connection. But all things are possible, just depending on your level of grit, your level of tenacity, and just your level of awareness about yourself, and how willing you're, how likely you can feel like you can pull together to stay committed to personal development as individuals and as a couple and as a family.
Yeah, when you talk about healthy integration, I believe that for me, if I'm looking at integrating something in my life later, I think high achievement, high earning would be easier than a relationship. Relationships have a dynamic of complexity, even though we say, hey, marriage isn't hard, working on you is hard. So marriage fosters an environment that requires you to work on you more than any other relationship. So I would really start working on that. It's like eat that frog, right?
Right.
The old concept of eat the frog is like accomplish and tackle the most challenging thing first, and the most challenging thing is getting you right.
Right.
The most challenging thing is the impurities and imperfections and the character deficiencies that are going to be revealed to you once you get married. Those are the most challenging things to do, because in business and achievement, it's a lot of people who are public successes and private failures. It's
absolutely.
Not that you can just roll out of bed and end up being a high achiever or high earner, but to eclipse that, if we just talk about the two, which one is going to take more challenge? I think it's certainly working on you to be the type of person that can operate inside of a lifelong relationship with somebody else. And so I'm going to tackle that first. And then later in life, I think it'll be easier to add, hey, we got a solid relationship, and now we're going to have to figure out, how do we deal with being more successful in business? How are we going to deal with having more money? Right? That's something you got to deal with as well. But instead of dealing with, I got the money part, now let me figure out how to deal with merging my life with somebody else. I don't think that's the recipe that's going to set you up for the success more often than not. Everybody's individual, have a right to chart their own path, but I don't think that's going to be the path that help the most people.
Right, and it all depends on what your goal is. As a woman, I couldn't imagine getting married in my mid to late 30s, because after I achieved everything, because I feel there's this biological clock. People can agree or disagree. It's a biological clock. You want children. 9 out of 10 women, I truly believe, want children of their own, want a husband and want children. And so I think we're seeing more women now in their 40s, and they are like, hey, they are, wanting children, but they're having to take all these expensive measures to go get the children and have the children. Meaning, if they decided that they were going to do that when they were in their 20s and sought after, marriage, family, and all those different things in the beginning, and you can still kind of do all that. Because when James and I first got together and we got married, I still was working, right? Until we started having kids, and then my focus changed. So I think that if you continue to wait and that let that man be the icing on the cake, let him be the strawberry, the topping, or whatever, the sprinkles, then you are really taking a chance of not having the family life that you want. And when people leave this earth, they're not thinking about the stuff. That's not a memory that they're thinking about. Right. You're thinking about, the children I have left behind, the legacy I left behind, what did I impart into this earth that is going to continue on. You have people that are in their 60s now. You have some business partners, and they're like, I want to settle down because I want somebody to die with. Like, seriously, now we're getting to that point and looking for spouses and mates in their 60s, when that could have been your life completely different, where you could have and built with that person all along the way, versus waiting to your 60s, 50s, 40s to really be like, oh, okay, let's now add the spouse and the children to the mix and have to deal with all these expensive measures to even try to have a kid.
Yeah, I just can't imagine not having a partner to, as you achieve and hit these different milestones. It's like you want somebody on that journey with you.
Right.
I've said it time and time again that I don't believe we're meant to go on this journey alone. I've had men call me and talk about how they were achieving things in business, and it's like, I feel like I didn't have anybody to share it with. I didn't, I coming from a a big deal that they just closed, and it was like, yo, like when you experience something, you experience a good meal, you experience a good trip, you go, like, you want somebody to be able to share that with. And so to try to, go through achieving all those things on your own and then meet somebody else at the quote unquote finish line later in life, it would just, for me, it sounded like you would miss so much richness and fullness of experiences with that person, that y'all are hitting these milestones together. You've been on the journey with each other, achieving the whole time.
And you were talking about the personal development,
right?
Like you develop more personally when you are doing that along with someone, or when you're working independently on yourself, because those areas of weakness have been identified, and your spouse is working on whatever those areas are. You're doing that alone, but together. And so that marriage is just the bomb. So I don't know why people feel like they got to accomplish so much before they decide to get married.
Yeah. So here, another comment from John. He said there is also the dynamic in a marriage that someone is around to hold you accountable every day. Yeah, and they hold you accountable just by being there. They don't even have to say anything, right? Mm-hmm. John has said in his earlier comment about his wife, making him a better man. Like, just the accountability of my wife being there, and for her to have her own personal development journey. And I see things that she's doing with her discipline and her, her working out, her, okay, show them guns, right? Her discipline and her working out, her, just on her journey of striving for all of the different things fitness, that she wants in any arena, right? Yeah. In any arena, by doing that, like, that creates a accountability, for me to be, a better man. So I definitely resonate and understand what you're saying there, John, for sure. So, hey, Coach Love, give us any closing thoughts you have here on this topic.
My favorite thing is always honor me, myself, and I. I know how that sounds, but you have to always do that, because the foundation of anything you're going to build fully, rests on the dedication you have to yourself. The way you love and care for yourself will always exemplify, or you'll always emanate the energy, so that the people that are around you know, this is how I need to connect with you. This is the level I need to be at. These are the things I need to accomplish to make sure I can share space with you. So I think when you do that, when you honor yourself, everything and every assignment, all the people, all the connections, all the abundance, all the blessings, they come because you're doing the work and you're being very intentional at. The only other thing is, I say, is just have fun in the meanwhile. Everything's not so intense all the time. Make whatever journey you're on as fun as it possibly can be, because the reality is we only get to do this thing one time, right? So, and that's all I got. I want y'all to just go away with more love and more understanding, and just keep being the epitome of what's possible for people. I can appreciate that. Though my dynamic of choice for relationship is much different, I always can respect and appreciate when I see people just idly doing exactly what needs to be done for people to have examples, because there are those that are looking for examples like yourself. So thank you so much for that.
We appreciate you recognizing that, because this is what it's all about. It's about, examples. Our biggest thing is just be clear about what you want, and then clear about the implications of that. And once you have enough information, I'm sure we all agree, the more information you have, the better decisions you can make. And so when you can see, hey, here's the information of, following this path, following this method, here are the implications of that. Is that what I want?
Right.
Right?
Because I will say, in any, if you decide traditional marriage or modern marriage, there's going to be stuff that you have to delay. There's delayed gratification. There is stuff that you put on the back burner for something else. There is days when you're like, oh, okay, I'm submitting. For me, I don't have these with you, but I've heard other women talk about, I'm submitting, and I may not, agree with whatever submission is. For the most part, it's not. James say this is the way we're going, and because he's proven himself early on, then we just gonna flow and go. But 9.9 times out of 10, I'm agreeing anyway. But I think they get so afraid of the word submission because there's no, it hasn't been defined. Submission has not been defined enough times. So when
Right.
they see submission, all they see is a woman being meager and,
Right.
my husband is leading, I'm walking 10 steps behind him, and this is what we do. But
Right.
that is not the case, and it doesn't have to be the case. When you have a
Right.
mission and everything else falls behind that, and then under that mission, you say, my husband is the leader, protector, guide. This is his role in our relationship. When you have that defined, and we all have this mission that we're working towards as a couple and as a family, and something doesn't go in line with the mission, then it's very easy to say, okay, we'll do that later, or we're not going to do that. You delay it. Or it
Yeah.
might never go into it. So you sacrifice whatever that is to
Right.
find something else. But I think because it's
Right.
not defined as what submission is, women are afraid of it
Right.
because they're just seeing it as, I don't have any autonomy over my life and I have to do whatever my husband says.
Right.
So I think it's about,
Listen, can we have that episode? Okay, let's have that episode. Let's do a whole masterclass on that.
okay, we
Just
have to
the
do
concept
that.
of people realizing
Defining
what's
what that
true,
S word is.
Exactly. Listen, I think it's awesome. If you guys want to connect with me, find me on Instagram at @onecoachlove_. Again, thank you guys so much. It's been awesome to see you guys virtually. I look forward to 2 years ago, James has been now. Sometime in the next coming weeks and years, we're going to meet in person. I would love to actually have that exchange in person. Thank you guys again, and you're wonderful at what you do, and I appreciate you.
Now we appreciate you. We
Thank
appreciate you and
you.
your perspective.
Mhm.
Let's definitely look forward to getting together. Yeah. So look, we got another guest here in the green room. Let's see if my guy Travis is here, ready to go. This now it's about to get real.
Spicy.
It's about to get real spicy.
I know what you say, spicy.
Yeah. Let's see.
Travis brings some spice to life.
Okay. Boom. All right. There he is. My guy, Travis. What's happening, Trav?
What's up, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you for sure, man. So, look, you've seen the viral clip, man. Everybody's talking about, hey, are high achieving, high earning women, are they, are they unattractive? Like he flat out said, once you've accomplished all this, like, I don't want you. What say you, bro?
Yeah. So there's two things with that. There's a portion of that where I absolutely disagree with. And then there's a portion of that on what I think he's not intelligent enough to explain. But if he was, I could agree with. Does that make sense?
Okay.
The part that I absolutely disagree with is, the amount of accomplishments that a woman has, what she's able to do, has no bearing on who he is as a man. Like him as a man, if he's secure into himself, because all he's doing is just, when he says that, you're just showing an insecure person. I don't care how my wife, right?
Man, Travis came on like just like the women in the comments. He said, "Oh, he insecure." Called him insecure.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you the reason why. Because so my wife, she had above a 4.0. You know what I'm saying? She graduated. She has 4 degrees. She has a master's degree, and then 3 other degrees, 3 bachelor degrees. Super high powered certified public accountant. None of that that was impressive in terms of what she's able to achieve, but none of that told me, because I knew myself. I knew when she got with me, I am going to be able to elevate her on the ways that she can't herself. You understand what I'm saying? I am going to be able to lead her in ways she can't herself. I am going to take what she has and the abilities that she has and multiply that within our relationship. This is what I am able to do. Now, what I think that he was trying to say was, oftentimes women that are high achievers, oftentimes they want to butt heads with the man, and so therefore it's more of a competition with each other versus a collaborative effort to succeed. Now that does happen a lot. That does happen in a lot of times when you have a woman, like you hear, like when a woman says, "Hey, I want a man that makes the same amount of money as I do or more," and when she's already making like six figures or whatever the case may be,
So
and
let so
sometimes
so
I,
so yeah, let's talk about that. You know,
yeah,
the women who are making the 6+ figures or whatever it might be, and they want a man that's making that same amount or more. Like, don't you think that is an indication of their value system, and maybe that part could be repelling and unattractive?
which part? The fact that they're making that much or what?
No, they prioritization of uh hey,
Or the amount of
this,
money that he makes?
yeah, about how much he makes, and even delaying relationships and family for the pursuit of achieving and earning.
Yeah. Here's the conundrum. I tell women that you have a better chance of actually earning six figures than you are getting with a man that you want that's earning six figures. You see what I'm saying? So, in my opinion, that should the money barometer is a indication. But what is a better indication for the man that you want, especially when it comes to money, is genuinely looking at how he was or where he was at one point in time in his life and where he's at now. Like, what has he overcame? And therefore, from that track record, what is he on the trajectory to actually accomplish? And then you align your vision and your goals with that. Like, is that more aligned? Because the amount of money a man is making is not necessarily what's aligned with your goals and your mission. So, what women are actually trying to say when they say, "Oh, I want a man making six figures, whatever," what they're trying to say is, "I want to feel secure and I want to live a certain type of lifestyle." Well, just because a man makes six figures doesn't mean you're going to live that lifestyle, and it doesn't mean you're going to be in a secure financial situation. So, what you're actually looking for is financial security and being well taken care of, which does not indicate the actual amount of money a man makes. You'd be in a better position
That
if
ain't
you
what they
work.
saying, Travis. They ain't
I
saying
know.
all that. They saying they need you to be a six-figure, ninja. I think, yeah, they not saying all that, man.
Yeah, but the guy, but you don't think that was a very insecure statement for him to make though? Like, yo, if she's more
So here's
unattractive,
the thing too. I think I find it problematic that women, and I guess here Travis too, like jump to calling men insecure when they talk about things that would be attractive or unattractive, appealing or unappealing, things that will repel them.
yeah,
You you
wrong
were
with
talking
that?
about this before you hopped on about
Yeah.
a lot of women's response was about that and insecurity, and even like one of the comments that I saw talked about yeah,
I think it's
men
the
need to
obvious.
be needed. Like I saw one commenter talking about men need to be needed, and she followed up with SMH shaking my head, and women were co-signing this idea. So as a man,
They're gonna stay single.
say it again.
They'll stay single and wonder why they are still single, being unagreeable. But go ahead.
So as a man, as a masculine man who finds a great deal of my
National
identity in providing and being able to be needed and provide some things for you and provide that security. Women seeking security. I find identity in providing that security and providing new experiences for you, upgrading for you. I don't want, it's not attractive to me to be the finishing touch on somebody's life. So if we listen to the clip, he was saying how the woman who was speaking to him was saying, basically, I have it all together except for hey, I've achieved, I've got the education, I've got the career, I got the income. The only thing missing is a spouse. I don't want to sign up for that, and I don't think that makes me insecure. And I think men who have that thought process, like, yo, I'm not coming in to be the
Why not?
finishing, touches or the trinket on top of your, life that you design. I want to be needed. I want to come in and, give a woman an experience that she hasn't experienced.
I would say definitely for masculine men,
Yeah.
because what you're describing a lot of times is the role that men take when they're looking for a wife.
Right.
They want to make sure that they're, financially secure. Why? Why do they do all these different things? They achieve a certain level of success. They have security, all those different things, because they're taking a woman underneath their wing, and I'm going to provide for her. I'm going to do all these different things. I'm going to protect. I'm going to lead her. So how does that look to a masculine man to me say, I'm going to provide for you. I'm going to protect. I'm going to lead you. I'm going to take all the stuff that you were going to do. I've already done that. Now come on over, join my team, my plan, and you be the icing on my cake. And I'm going to protect, provide for you.
I am going to lead my woman in ways that she could not get anywhere else. There is no accomplishment that she can achieve that I know I can't expound upon. Let me kind of clarify a little bit. If you remember what he said, well, if you have all these different things, right? Which I think the interesting thing about this is women should be capable of these things anyway, right? What he's saying is, if I can't help you in these specific areas, then I don't feel masculine for you. How does that make sense when in reality, the things that you bring as a man extend beyond a job, extends beyond your finances, extends beyond what she's able to do for us?
So it does extend beyond that, but it also encompasses that as well. So it's
Not necessarily.
It's not exclusively, about
A
that.
woman should be able to take care of herself with a man or without a man. That's not inherently masculine or feminine.
That wasn't my argument.
That's his though.
I didn't take that as his argument. So her having the ability to take care of herself, that's fine. But we're talking about high achievement and high earning. There's some magic laws. I want to be able to take my wife on an experience. I want to be able to take her, on a trip, and she's experiencing this for the first time. I want to be able to build a house with her, and she's experiencing this for the first time. Right? You think
reminds me of something.
You think of girls and their fairy tales, right? It's always the downtrodden poor woman, right? This speaks to hypergamy, who ends up with the prince, right? It's always she was scrubbing floors with her evil stepsisters or whatever, and she ends up upgrading. What was the black one in New Orleans? Tiara, is that Tiana?
No,
I don't know these.
Yeah, I think it was.
I don't know this.
Yeah.
But I do know the trope of hypergamy that is played out there, and so typically when we talk about hypergamy, we talk about it from a woman's perspective, how she wants the knight in shining armor to basically come upgrade her lifestyle, right? A king makes a woman a queen. A queen doesn't make a man a king. Right, Queen Elizabeth, she married like he's not a king, right? Okay. He's still Prince Charles. He's not a king. But if a king marries a woman, he makes her a queen. So a man upgrading her, there's some magic there with being able to give her some experiences that she hasn't just already done on her own. And I don't think that speaks to insecurity.
Yeah, and then even with doing all those different things that you've done on your own, something I was thinking about was, if you've accomplished all these different things, you've taken on some different traits and characteristics that would tend to be more difficult for you to be led by somebody else now that you've accomplished all of this and you've lived your life like this for 35, 40 years. And so now you truly are just looking for somebody to be the icing on the cake because you've accomplished everything. I've accomplished it all. I just now need a spouse. So that's the part of it that it's kind of backwards to me.
But this is legacy success is an ever evolving thing. Success is a journey. It's not a destination. So when people posit this particular stance as if, okay, you got a job and you make a lot of money and you've accomplished these things, you don't need to do anything else in your life, that makes no sense. That means to me, what he is telling me when I hear that is he doesn't know what his legacy is. He doesn't know what his purpose is. He doesn't know how he can contribute that to the woman and how that woman contributes that to his life. That's what I hear. I hear a man that just doesn't know his purpose. I hear a man that doesn't actually know how to foster the abilities of that woman to create something else. I was with my wife when she's a CPA. She's doing something completely different. She never even thought she would be doing. This wasn't her goal to become an entrepreneur and to do this stuff. She's doing it now because of what we were able to accomplish together. Even in her business, right? There were things like even now, when I talk to her about different things in her business, she might say, "Hey, listen, I'm having a hiccup here." And I help her in that. My point is, it's a journey. And he is saying he doesn't know how to experience that journey with an accomplished woman. So, to you guys, I hear what you're saying, but to me, I hear a man that doesn't actually know his own mission, that doesn't have a vision, and doesn't know how to include an accomplished woman into that. Now, what you said.
So
Yolanda,
hold on, because I think it's also a possibility, right, that a man. It's not that he doesn't know how to include an accomplished woman, and it's going back to like men having their preferences. Maybe he just doesn't want to include a woman who has found her success in the accomplishments of career and achievement and income, right? Like tell me your value proposition without talking about your achievements is what comes to mind. If I'm seeking a woman, like tell me what's so dope about you without talking about your achievements.
that's fine. But that has nothing to do
JB
with
said here, you can have both. What man doesn't want a successful woman? Only one who needs a woman to help him feel less secure about himself. I see the most success when couples do it together. So, like, what man doesn't want a successful woman? Starting with that question there. I think it's often presupposed that success is an achievement, right? Like a woman who has embraced her femininity is a great suitor to be a homemaker, a domestic goddess, a domestic engineer, a rearer of children. Why is she not deemed success the same way somebody who's achieved a lot of accomplishments, education, and income? Well, like why is that the barometer of success that we default to and say, hey, you need a successful woman? So
it's always financial.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't know if some men are saying this 50-50 or 100-100 and not really realizing what you're asking. It brings to my memory or attention some celebrity couples where he wanted his wife and he created her. She was a school teacher. She came out of being a school teacher and went into real estate. And he built her up and all these different things and what that time demand looks like. You're saying 50-50, 100-100. Well, when we start having kids, I'm not going to be home. I'm not making dinner at night. I'm not doing all of these different things that you may want as a husband because I'm pursuing the goals that are set for us to be hitting this 50-50 mark, for us to be all going in doing 100-100. And so I think a lot of times it looks good. And because there was no mission that was planned out, because there was no vision, it was like, let's go get stuff. Let's do what society says and let's go in this thing 50-50. I think that they don't see or understand what am I sacrificing by asking my wife and now saying this is going to be the vision. Because I can guarantee you I was a different woman when I worked a job and I had to come home and take care of kids. And then I had to do housework. And then at the end of the night, I'm giving my husband what is left over from 16 hours of me serving somebody else. And so it was that crazy to me that your sex life is going to decline, man. You bring your woman home and have her at home. It's a different sex life. Your house going to look different. She going to move different. You talking about have someone that is more submissive. Of course, that's going to be the case when you are in more traditional roles and you're going to get more support. You're going to get more comfort. I can pour in comfort more into my husband when I'm here versus when I'm working for somebody else, comforting somebody else, taking care of their needs, all that kind of stuff. It just made more sense to me. If we're going to talk about building legacy, we're going to talk about us coming together and creating something outside of ourselves. We're going to talk about something we can pass down to our kids. It just made more sense to be in more of a traditional role and more of gender roles, which I'm inclined and love my gender roles because I ain't got to worry about the stress on the job. right? I don't have to worry about the harassment I was receiving on the job. My husband ain't got to come. I ain't got to worry about protection for him because he ain't got to come hit somebody in the head on the job. So it just all made more sense. I don't have to move in a certain way. I literally can be in my femininity as much as I want to, except when I got to get on the kids. I got that kind of gets some masculinity sometimes, but you know,
Yolanda,
I get
ain't you
to be
accomplished?
in those roles.
You one of the accomplished women, Yolanda.
Of course, yes, I am. Thank you, Travis. But people don't see it that way. They don't see a stay-at-home mom as being accomplished. They don't see it. They see a stay-at-home mom as, oh, that's something that either a husband is making her do, or especially in the Black community, or she is doing that because she can't find a job or career. And so in the Black community, amongst us, we really have to step it up in a woman and her husband deciding, you know what, I want to be home. I want to raise the kids. I want to be with them. And it being looked at as something that is esteemed versus looked down on. Because just recently, I was at an event and James was like, well, you kind of answered that question differently. And I was like, no, I didn't. And he was like, well, this is what you said. I was like, no, I talked about that. And then I started really thinking about it over the weeks. And I was like, you know what? I did do that. I led with, my husband and I, we do business together. I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm also a mom. And I'm also, I homeschool my kids. It's like really busy. Instead of saying, I'm a stay-at-home mom and I homeschool my kids. Because that's what I do 90% of the time. Instead of leading with that, because I was in an environment where I knew these Black women would look down on me because I'm a stay-at-home mom, I'm support my husband, they were going to look down on that as something meager. But I tell you what, James wouldn't be nowhere without this support. The house wouldn't run as well without me doing what I do. And I think that we need to start holding these positions in more high esteem if we want a stronger Black family unit. That's only if we want a stronger Black family unit. If we want a stronger community, we have to start holding these positions in esteem versus acting like it's something you do in between times while you're looking for another job.
Change the narrative.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I just, my only challenge is I just want people to realize that I believe in, I'm going to turn to my liberal mode a little bit, to combat things like overpopulation and stuff like that.
I'm sorry. Travis, you ain't got to worry about overpopulation in the Black community. That is not a worry at all because we are declining quickly.
Well, actually, we're not. We're growing, but I got you. But let me say this though, real quick. I believe that women are just as intelligent as men and can provide solutions for the world. I was just looking recently that there was this Black woman developed a possible cure for cancer. I don't know if y'all seen that. It was very beautiful. She did some sort of research. I can't remember exactly what it was. Somebody I'm sure can Google it, but she developed some sort of potential cure for cancer. And it was some brilliant research. And the point I'm making is, I know like that to me doesn't scare me. That doesn't turn me off. For me, that's like, yeah, we need more of that. We need more people that can provide solutions, and then more men who can rise to the challenge and say, I appreciate that, and I can grow with that and build with that. Because James, you did it with Yolanda.
Yeah, no, not so much. She was not. My wife wasn't out here curing cancer, and that's a noble thing. That's a noble thing. And here's the point that I'm looking to illuminate is, yes, women have the ability, the intelligence to contribute. Case in point, like what you spoke about. A man not being attracted to that for his spouse, I don't think makes him a lesser of a man. I don't think that makes him insecure. I don't think that means he doesn't have the capability or the capacity to know how to fit her into, a relationship with him. He just may not want to, right? So, likewise, we need men that are willing to put on the uniform and join the military and fight for, fight in for defense, right? Even though we don't ever really fight for defense, but we need a military is my point, right? I don't think that would say a woman is lesser than, she just doesn't know how. If she's not willing to if she says for her life, I don't want a man that the implications that come along with having a man that's in the military, that's not the life I want.
Right.
Like, so when women have their preferences on what would they're attracted to, what repels them, what they don't want, we don't blink an eye at it. But
he was talking for himself. I'm not attracted to this particular type of woman.
Right. And I'm gonna keep it a buck, right? I'm gonna keep it a buck. Obviously, my wife, I don't have to worry about this. But if I had to look again, I would rather find a woman who is feminine, fit, attractive physically, and is nice and kind and is agreeable, and she work at Walmart or McDonald's, than a woman who has achieved everything, and whenever I do something for her or give her an experience, she's experienced it. She's been on a trip. She's built a house herself. Right, like we layer in the conversation. Women who are out here getting their own houses. I want to be able to buy you. I bought you your first home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the excitement I had when we came in and we're looking at the kitchen, and you got that on recording, and I was crying, and you were just lit up because it was everything that I wanted in my kitchen. And so, because it's like, I spent a lot of time in the kitchen, and we cook a lot because we hear a lot all day long. And so I wanted my kitchen a particular way, and you being able to afford and give that after all the hard work you did, after all the sacrifices, after everything that you delayed and worked hard for, and the disappointments that were along the way and everything, to be able to say, we've finally accomplished this. I'm able to be able to provide this for my wife. I couldn't imagine any other scenario where it would be as great.
And we have a video of it. It was a great moment. It's a touching moment, right? Like I get halfway emotional right now, even just thinking about it again, to be able to provide that for her and the reaction. If she's a high achieving woman who's built the house, it might be her second, third house. She's not having the same response. I desire to have that as a man. It doesn't make. I don't think that makes a man insecure or incapable of. There's other things you can add. Yeah, there's other things I add as well. And I can still lead her another way, but I want to lead her there too, right?
It's okay to be wrong.
Like, when you were a child, did y'all go on trips, vacations? Okay. Did you ever go on a plane when you were a child?
I did.
You did. Did you fly first class?
No.
With me, have you flown first class?
Yes.
Y'all went on some trips sometimes.
Like the beach?
The beach or something,
yeah,
right?
because we're in North Carolina. So
did y'all ever travel out the country?
No. I never traveled out the country.
Okay. Yeah. Have you traveled out the country with me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I get the point. I could go on and on with, there was stuff.
First limo ride.
Like, you'd never been in a limo, right? Tell me. I want to give my wife first and experiences that
first
if
time
she's...
I went to the fair. The real fair.
that ain't quite painting the picture that I'm trying to paint here, right?
I know, right?
But
But girl ain't did nothing.
Right. You get the point. But go ahead. What say you, Travis? You see the point I'm trying to make here. What's wrong with that? What's wrong if I want to give her those experiences? I want to be the knight in shining armor. I want to take her on her first class flight. I want to take her to the resort for the first time. I want to take her on an international trip. I want to build her a house. What's wrong with me wanting to do that?
Yeah, you're confirming the insecure part, man. Like those statements was confirming it. Like, because listen, so what you're saying is, if she's already flown on a plane before, if she's already went out of the country, you can't give her experience she's never experienced before. I mean, come on, that doesn't make sense, James. I mean, you can still give her. You can, if she's flown out of the country before, okay, well, let me take you to a place you haven't gone before. Or if she's gone to this place before, okay, well, let me do something else on top of that you've never done before. I mean, there's so many different things that you could do. Like, none of this changes.
Are you listening to try to not understand? Like, of course.
No, I heard what you said. What you're saying is you want to be the first one to do certain things. And I'm saying that everything you name, none of that stops you still providing first for her. It doesn't stop you for doing that. Like, you can still provide. If she's
purchased and built 2 or 3 homes already, I can't buy her first home.
Yeah. So okay, right. So let's stop with that for a second, right? So think about what you. Let's just think about this for a second. So what you're saying is that you would have this position that because she's bought her first home, this literally degrades the value of her in terms of a relationship with you?
No, it's not what I said.
Then I don't understand what you're saying, because what the man is saying, because in the interview, that's what he's saying. He's saying because she's so accomplished, I cannot. I am going to have the experiences and things that I have with this woman, and me being with this woman, I don't see myself being able to bring this type of value to her.
So I think you have, it's a different conversation talking about value versus attractiveness and desire. That doesn't diminish your value, but that can diminish a level of attraction to you. So like John's asking, right? Like, do I feel like she would love me any less if she had these experiences previously? No, I don't think she would necessarily love me less. Even though I think I could probably make an argument. Because I think the externalities that are engendered from you changing someone's situation is just different, right? Like if you've taken a woman from the from the hood to the to the suburbs, she probably feeling a little bit different. Like because you've impacted her life in a way that she hasn't necessarily do it. So I could probably make an argument, but I won't right now, right? I won't. Me doing that for her and then seeing the experience does something for me that I value. It's not about her value. It's not about like, do I think she would love me less if she didn't have these experiences? It's about I would get less out of the experience. If it's just matter of fact for us to build a house, if it's just matter of fact for us to go on some of these, trips and experiences, it's, hey, I want to take you here. Oh yeah, I love going there. Like, I did that, 17, 11 times with my girlfriends. It takes a little something out. It takes a little magic out of the moment and experience. Yes.
I think you're moving the goalpost, because his exact words was he doesn't feel like he would be able to do for her. That's what he said. Now, if you're changing, like if that's not your argument, what he said, fine, cool. I still would hold the position that then, because in my opinion, if I had the same situation, if I'm in the same exact situation that you're talking about, that's going to challenge me to rise to the occasion. If I like this woman, then I'm going to say, oh, she already had a house. Then I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna do my real estate portfolio and get two houses. She never had two houses. Like this is how my mind thinks. My mind.
Okay, so now we have to
because he said something different from you, by the way.
Got it. Okay, that's fair. If he says something different, then that's fair. But I do think where you're going with. Well, then I it's just going to challenge me. Then I think that puts us into a place and getting dangerous in terms of the level of materialistic priority and pursuit of luxury in terms of its priority.
Says the man who put his woman on the first class tickets and bought her first. Okay, James, I'm going to take that statement serious.
None of it was expense of family first. It was all delayed and gratification. We went on our honeymoon and we never went.
You're going in and out, by the way, James.
At Smith Mountain Lake.
All right.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
All right. Well, I just went to a
We can hear
different
you.
mic. Guess we'll finish the show up here. All right. I had to switch to a different mic. I think they got our sound back now. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and I guess get ready to wrap it up, man. But spirited spirited conversation, man, as always. What's your closing thoughts?
Mine? Oh, well, my closing thoughts are, James, I agree with you, and obviously I agree with almost everything Yolanda said. She's more right than you are, James. but no, let me go. But I agree with you in terms of James that it is okay for men to have preferences, but I also think it's important for us to always explore what those preferences are. You gave an example about the military. If a woman said, "Hey, I don't want a man that's in the military because there's a high chance he may not come back alive, and I don't want to risk my family like that," that's okay. But if she said, "Hey, I don't want a man that's in the military because I won't be able to feed, he's going to be in shape and I won't be able to feed him properly," you're like, what? Like, that doesn't make any sense. That's the same context I am taking this, because if you say, I am less attracted, and this is why, if you remember earlier, I said there's a part that I agree with and part I disagree with. That was my first statement. And I said that because if he would have said, you know, I find that accomplished women usually, like what Yolanda articulated, that these women are usually a little bit more bullish. I usually feel like I'm in more competition with them. I was like, okay, well, I don't disagree with that. So, but I wouldn't eliminate them. But he just feels like, well, I'm probably going to gear my energy towards, or my effort towards, a more successful endeavor. That's okay. But when you say you're less attractive because you're accomplished, and then your point is because I can't do anything for you, wait, what? That now it becomes a little bit larger of a, okay, where is this really stemming from a personal level? So anyway, I think men should be able to have their preferences. I think women should be able to have their preferences, but I also think it's important to explore where these preferences come from, because there is a difference between a preference and a prejudice. Go ahead.
Yeah, that sounded great, man. I appreciate I appreciate you having on for sure. Definitely have to do it again. Listen, I'm gonna end with this. I think I think for sure, when it comes to a preference of needing to be needed, I believe in like who likes you, not who you like. And when I say that, part of being liked as a man is being needed. Right? Part of being liked as a man is being needed. And so I think the root of this kind of stems down to that disdain that we saw even in the comments. It was comments of like, men need to be needed, shaking my head. Yes, I need to be needed. You know, if that makes me insecure, cool, I'll wear that. I need to be needed.
You
I
ain't gotta worry
find
about that.
I find I find my a good bit of my identity as a husband, as a father, in providing. So I don't want to be with a woman who doesn't need me, quote unquote. She just wants me. I don't want to be the finishing touches. I don't want to be the trimmings. I don't want to be the strawberry or the cherry on top of your already accomplished life. You feel like you've done everything and you just need me just to be the finishing touch. I don't want that. And I think there's a lot of men that are masculine men that they don't desire that, and it doesn't mean that they're intimidated by these women. They don't want that.
Right. And your preferences are your preferences. And I think what we have to do, which has been mentioned, is define what you want. Define it. And then after you define it and what you are sacrificing or what you're delaying or what you're not getting or whatever the case may be, once that's done, then you can go seek after and be sought for what that is. It's like designing it. People don't design their life. People aren't designing their marriages, their relationships, or anything. It's like, oh, I like him because this. or these solitary reasons. But after you move it along, design what it is that you want. And if you design it, then you can achieve it. If you have no design, you have no mission, you're not going towards anything, what are you really achieving?
There it is. There it is. Hey, listen, spirited conversation. Listen, we appreciate you guys tuning in. We're gonna shift our time to 8:30. Okay, 8:30. We're gonna be doing our show on Sundays, and we encourage you guys to tune back in. Drop us comments whether you agree, disagree, and if you would like to be a guest on the show as well, you can go to showguests.themarriagebydesign.com. We have you guys on showguests.themarriagebydesign.com. Between now and the next time I pass calls, go out there, design the type of life you deserve for you and your family, and we'll see you on the journey.